For 2 days, the nation was paralyzed by an existential crisis the likes of which this country has never seen, a crisis so dire it threatened our institutions, our political system, our very way of life, a waking nightmare that has left us frightened and confused, a watershed moment that has changed America forever. There was a balloon. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. By now, no doubt, you've heard about the Chinese spy balloon. It flew across the continental U.S. It monopolized the media's attention for days, and it made an electrifying appearance at last night's Grammys. Well, it electrified everyone but Ben Affleck. How can you drink that much Dunkin' coffee and still look like someone stole his bike? Anyway. The balloon was all anybody could talk about after it was spotted in the sky on Thursday and made quite a trip across U.S. airspace.
The balloon has traveled for days from western Alaska to the Midwest.
It traveled thousands of miles across the United States.
It started in Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, Alaska, and then came down through Canada. And it just crossed into the United States in Montana.
It was spotted here in Billings Wednesday and is still on the move this morning, hovering over the northern U.S.
The balloon is likely somewhere over Kansas after sightings over Montana yesterday.
It drifted across Nebraska and then into the Midwest today, spotted as it made its way across Missouri.
From Idaho to Montana, all the way down to the Carolinas.
It was about 6 nautical miles off the coast near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
First of all, we should stop calling it a Chinese spy balloon when a far more accurate name is Chinese spy balloon. The only way this balloon could have had a higher profile is if it had its own Instagram account. Creeping around Mount Rushmore on the down low. Lincoln's so cute up close. This balloon did more traveling than a high school senior taking a gap year before college. True story, it already has diamond medallion status on Delta. Next time it's spotted in American airspace, it's going to be in first class. Writers all day are like, a balloon in a first class seat with a glass of champagne. And our graphics department's like, all right, I don't know what that looks like. I feel like your job is way easier than my job. There's something about it being a balloon that just makes it very hard to take seriously. Like, it would be one thing to send a fleet of fighter jets or a giant naval vessel. That would be scary. But a balloon? Are they trying to scare us or cheer us up at the hospital? We should respond with something even dumber to flummox them. Like, we should send one of those air dancers they have outside car dealerships. No, but undercover with a wig and a mustache. I do like to imagine him as a British spy working for MI6 in a joint operation with the CIA. Your mission is to infiltrate the Chinese army and gather intelligence on their most closely guarded secret. You think you can handle that, old chap? You got it! So the balloon thing was all anyone could talk about for days, but it was an especially big hit on Fox News, whose human news balloons could not stop obsessing over it.
There is a Chinese spy balloon floating over America right now.
A high-altitude Chinese spy balloon.
There is, by the way, a Chinese spy balloon.
A Chinese spy balloon.
That Chinese spy balloon.
A Chinese spy balloon.
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 Balloon.
Balloon. Balloon. Balloon.
An entire network became obsessed with a balloon like a 5-year-old at a birthday party. Just to screw with Fox News, Biden should have announced that he was inviting the balloon to appear in this year's Thanksgiving Day parade. The speculation on the right got so fevered and out of control that Republicans and Fox personalities started taking wild guesses about what might be inside the balloon.
My concern is that the federal government obviously doesn't know what's in that balloon. Is that bioweapons in that balloon? Did that balloon take off from Wuhan?
The next balloon might be filled with another virus. Pop, droplets all over, we're all on ventilators again.
There's a lot of devastating weapons that could be delivered this way, to include an electromagnetic pulse, EMP.
Did it drop and disperse surveillance products powered by solar energy to allow unlimited surveillance?
Probably not. These people were so scared of a balloon, you would think it was floating out of a sewer grate. Was it filled with a virus, a bioweapon, an electromagnetic pulse? Did it drop solar-powered surveillance products at everyone's house so they could spy on you while you drink boxed wine and watch Real Housewives? Or maybe it's filled with delicious candy, piñata style. And if that's the case, why isn't Biden shooting it down? Is he waiting for it to drift over Delaware so he can keep all the candy for himself? We deserve answers, and we deserve delicious candy. And yet the dumbest speculation was the incessant questioning over and over of why Biden wouldn't just shoot down the balloon while it drifted over the continental U.S.
Why haven't we shot this balloon out of the sky? Oh, Joe Biden is the president.
I can nearly guarantee you that that balloon would still not be flying if we were still there.
Why did it take U.S. officials so long to shoot it down?
You have to wonder, why isn't our military doing anything about it? And it elicits so many questions. I think about Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden compromised? Is that why he won't allow the military to do it? There's a lot in that laptop that might have something to do with this response as well.
That's right. They think Biden waited to shoot down the balloon not because the debris might crash on land and potentially cause harm or destruction to Americans, but because of Hunter Biden's laptop. As far as I'm aware, the only balloon associated with Hunter's laptop is the balloon who found it. In their minds, what do they think was going on here? Biden's son Hunter was somehow compromised by China, so in return, Joe Biden made a secret deal with the Chinese government to allow them to fly a giant, super visible balloon over the country for a few days before shooting it down. If that's the case, I think it's actually a terrible story for China, because that is a very bad deal. We've informed President Biden of the dirt we have on his son. He was willing to make a trade. Excellent news. What did we get? Copies of top secret documents? Access to their nuclear secrets? No, something even better. We got balloon access. 3 days worth. All right, I think we need a new negotiator. Also, you guys think Biden's the one who's compromised by China? Trump and his daughter Ivanka had Chinese trademarks approved while they were working in the White House. Trump had a business pursuit and a secret bank account in China. In fact, Trump paid nearly $200,000 in taxes to China over several years, while in 2020 he paid no income taxes in the U.S. And I know the right is upset about the idea that we would hire more IRS agents, but it does seem to say a lot about our tax system that Donald Trump could easily evade taxes here, but still had to pay them in China. Sir, we have to file our taxes with the U.S. Tell them I owe them zilch. They won't do. It's just one guy and he's so tired. And what about China? Oh, send them every penny. I would hate to lose access to my TikTok account. I finally learned all the dances. In fact, just to give you an idea how stupid the right-wing discourse about this balloon has been, multiple GOP politicians, from former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to Congressman Paul Gosar to failed Arizona gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake to Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, posted photos of themselves pointing guns at the sky, implying that they could shoot down the balloon themselves. My favorite one of these is Yale-educated Silicon Valley venture capitalist J.D. Vance cosplaying as one of the dudes from Duck Dynasty. No one's buying your shtick, dude. Look at the freshly purchased Bengals hoodie. You just know the tag is still on that. You look like a Hollywood wannabe auditioning for a remake of Deliverance. And then, of course, there were a bunch of Republicans who claimed that the dumb balloon saga would never have happened under Donald Trump, with some even going so far as to claim that if it did happen, Trump would have shot down the balloon immediately. Lauren Boebert tweeted that balloon would never have made it over U.S. soil if Trump was president, and Marjorie Taylor Greene tweeted, I just spoke with our great America First President Trump. He would have never allowed China to fly a spy balloon over our country and our military bases and assets. President Trump would have shot it down before it entered the U.S., and so would I. Based on the kind words Trump always had to say about foreign adversaries, I think if a Chinese spy balloon had flown over U.S. soil during his presidency, Trump would have tried to befriend it. He'd be telling stories about it at his rallies to this day. When I was president, I got along great with all the floating vessels, zeppelins, airships, dirigibles. I love the dirigibles. The dirigibles love Trump. And of course, the balloon. We love the balloon, don't we, folks? I remember I was in the Oval Office one day when a Chinese spy balloon had floated down, floated through the window. Big balloon, strong balloon. Tears pouring down its latex face, and it said to me, it said, and I said, it's so true, it's so true. But you know what? They're right. This would have never, ever, ever, ever happened under Donald Trump.
U.S. officials tell Fox it's not the first time Chinese spy balloons have flown over the United States. About 4 months ago, a Chinese spy balloon crashed in the Pacific near Hawaii. Others were spotted over Texas and Florida, dating back to the Trump administration, but never previously acknowledged publicly.
That's right. They flew balloons under Trump. Even worse, they flew them at Mar-a-Lago. The incredibly dumb balloon melodrama has exposed just how vacuous and silly so much of the right-wing media discourse is these days. They all lost their minds over a balloon, demanding that it be shot down immediately without any thought of the potential consequences and implying there was some dark conspiracy at play. And then, once Biden did have it shot down, he contradicted their talking points and burst their
balloon.
This has been a closer look.